The strongest trees grow not from excessive nourishment, but from finding the perfect balance between what nature provides and what the body truly needs. Shi Heng Yi. Have you ever wondered why Japanese elders maintain remarkable strength well into their 90s, while many Westerners struggle with muscle loss by 60? What if the secret to building and maintaining muscle at any age isn't found in expensive supplements or animal proteins, but in a humble food that costs less than your morning coffee? Today, we reveal the surprising muscle-building superfood that Japanese people have relied on for centuries. A food that outperforms eggs, whey protein, and even steak for building lean muscle mass. This isn't just another health trend. It's a scientifically validated nutritional powerhouse that can transform your physique regardless of your age. By the end of this video, you'll discover not only what this remarkable food is, but exactly how to incorporate it into your diet for maximum results. And be sure to stay until the very end. We have a special gift waiting for those who watch the complete video. The protein paradigm shift. For decades, Western fitness culture has been dominated by a singular approach to muscle building. Consume large quantities of animal protein, particularly eggs and whey. This protein-centric approach has become so ingrained that most gym-goers automatically reach for their protein shake after a workout, without questioning if there might be better alternatives. The problem with this narrow focus becomes increasingly apparent as we age, when digestive efficiency declines and our bodies struggle to process large amounts of animal protein. What's fascinating is how this contrasts with Eastern approaches to muscle development and maintenance. In Japan, particularly in regions known for exceptional longevity like Okinawa, we see a different paradigm altogether. Here, elders maintain remarkable muscle tone and functional strength well into their 90s, despite consuming significantly less animal protein than their Western counterparts. This observation has puzzled researchers for decades, leading to extensive studies of Japanese dietary patterns. The conventional wisdom suggests that without adequate protein, specifically complete proteins containing all essential amino acids, muscle building becomes impossible. Yet the evidence from Japanese centenarians directly contradicts this assumption. These individuals maintain functional strength and mobility, despite diets that would be considered protein deficient by Western standards. This paradox points to a critical insight. Perhaps the quality, form, and complementary nutrients matter far more than sheer protein quantity. Another limitation of conventional protein sources becomes apparent when we examine their inflammatory potential. Animal proteins, particularly in the quantities consumed by Western fitness enthusiasts, can promote inflammatory processes in the body. This inflammation creates a counterproductive environment for muscle recovery and growth. As we age, this inflammatory burden compounds existing challenges with muscle synthesis, creating a perfect storm for accelerated sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and function. The Japanese approach to protein consumption offers valuable lessons for optimizing muscle development at any age. Rather than focusing exclusively on protein quantity, Japanese dietary traditions emphasize protein quality, bioavailability, and complementary nutrients that enhance the body's ability to utilize protein efficiently. This subtle but crucial distinction explains why Japanese elders maintain significantly better muscle mass and functional strength compared to their Western counterparts, despite consuming less overall protein. This paradigm shift becomes even more relevant when we consider the economic and environmental implications. Animal proteins require substantial resources to produce and often come with significant environmental footprints. The Japanese alternative provides comparable or superior muscle-building benefits at a fraction of the cost, both economically and environmentally. For those seeking sustainable approaches to fitness and nutrition, this represents a compelling pathway forward. The key insight emerges when we examine not just what protein is consumed, but how it's prepared. The fermentation processes central to traditional Japanese food preparation transform ordinary ingredients into nutritional powerhouses by enhancing bioavailability, creating beneficial enzymes, and introducing beneficial bacteria that further enhance nutritional absorption. This traditional wisdom, refined over centuries, has been increasingly validated by modern nutritional science. revealing the secret food, natto. The remarkable Japanese muscle-building secret we've been alluding to is a food called natto, fermented soybeans that have been a staple in Japanese cuisine for over 1,000 years. This humble food, often consumed at breakfast in Japan, doesn't look particularly impressive at first glance. In fact, its appearance, sticky, stringy fermented soybeans with a distinctive aroma, often creates immediate resistance among Westerners encountering it for the first time. Yet beneath this unassuming exterior lies one of nature's most perfect muscle-building foods. Natto's origins trace back to ancient Japan, where it was discovered serendipitously when cooked soybeans, wrapped in straw, which naturally contained the bacterium Bacillus subtilis, fermented spontaneously. The resulting food was found to have extraordinary preservative qualities in an era before refrigeration, but its true value extended far beyond simple food preservation. Samurai warriors reportedly consumed natto regularly for strength and endurance, an early recognition of its muscle-enhancing properties. What makes natto unique is the transformation that occurs during fermentation. The Bacillus subtilis bacteria fundamentally alter the nutritional profile of soybeans, breaking down complex proteins into more bioavailable forms, creating new beneficial compounds, and neutralizing anti-nutrients that might otherwise limit mineral absorption. This fermentation process essentially pre-digests the soybeans, making their nutritional bounty far more accessible to the human body. The distinct stringiness of natto, often off-putting to newcomers, actually signals the presence of natural polymers produced during fermentation that have been linked to improved circulation and cardiovascular health. These same compounds appear to enhance nutrient delivery to muscle tissue, creating optimal conditions for muscle protein synthesis following exercise. This enhanced nutrient delivery becomes increasingly important as we age and circulation naturally diminishes. In Japanese culture, natto is often referred to as ichi nichi hito pack, meaning 1 pack per day keeps the doctor away, a testament to its recognized health benefits. Traditionally consumed with rice, natto frequently appears in Japanese breakfast alongside miso soup, creating a morning ritual that provides sustained energy and nutritional support for muscle maintenance throughout the day. This morning consumption timing aligns perfectly with current research on circadian protein feeding for optimal muscle synthesis. Unlike many superfoods that come with prohibitive price tags, natto remains remarkably affordable. In Japan, a single serving costs approximately 50 yen, less than 50 cents USD, making it accessible across socioeconomic levels. Even imported natto in Western countries typically cost significantly less than premium animal proteins or protein supplements, offering exceptional nutritional value per dollar spent. For those concerned about soy consumption, it's crucial to understand that fermented soy foods like natto have a fundamentally different health impact compared to highly processed soy products or unfermented soy. The fermentation process neutralizes many of the compounds that raise concerns about conventional soy products, while enhancing beneficial compounds. This distinction explains why traditional Asian diets high in fermented soy are associated with positive health outcomes, while some studies on processed soy show mixed results. Nutritional profile of the muscle miracle. The exceptional muscle-building capacity of natto becomes clear when we examine its comprehensive nutritional profile. A single 100-gram serving, about 3.5 ounces, delivers approximately 19 grams of complete protein, comparable to 3 eggs, while providing only 212 calories. This protein efficiency makes natto particularly valuable for those seeking to build muscle while maintaining lean body composition. But protein content alone doesn't explain natto's superior muscle-building capacity. What truly distinguishes natto is its complete amino acid profile. Unlike many plant proteins that lack sufficient quantities of certain essential amino acids, natto provides all 9 essential amino acids in proportions that closely match human requirements. Particularly noteworthy is its high content of branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, which play critical roles in muscle protein synthesis. Leucine, especially abundant in natto, serves as a key trigger for initiating muscle protein synthesis through the mTOR pathway. Beyond protein, natto delivers an impressive array of vitamins and minerals crucial for muscle development and overall health. It contains more vitamin K2 than virtually any other food source, providing over 1,000% of the daily recommended intake in a single day serving. This often overlooked vitamin plays essential roles in calcium utilization, bone health, and cardiovascular function. Emerging research suggests vitamin K2 may also enhance energy production within muscle mitochondria, potentially improving exercise performance and recovery. Natto also provides exceptional levels of manganese, iron, copper, magnesium, zinc, and potassium, minerals that support everything from oxygen transport to muscle contraction to post-workout recovery. The fermentation process enhances the bioavailability of these minerals by reducing phytic acid, which might otherwise bind to minerals and limit absorption. This enhanced mineral bioavailability becomes increasingly important as we age and digestive efficiency naturally declines. When compared directly to eggs, often considered the gold standard protein source, natto demonstrates several advantages. While eggs provide high-quality protein, they lack the beneficial enzymes created during natto's fermentation. Eggs also contain significantly more saturated fat and cholesterol, which may be problematic for those with cardiovascular concerns. Additionally, natto contains fiber, 5.4 grams per serving, that supports gut health and sustained energy release, while eggs provide none. Perhaps most remarkable is natto's vitamin B12 content. As one of the few plant-based foods containing significant amounts of this vitamin, crucial for energy production, nerve function, and red blood cell formation, natto provides particular value for those following plant-based diets. This B12 content results from the bacterial action during fermentation, rather than from the soybeans themselves, highlighting how fermentation transforms ordinary foods into nutritional powerhouses. Natto also contains unique compounds not found in other protein sources that appear to accelerate muscle development. These include polyamines like spermidine and spermine, which have been shown to enhance muscle growth and regeneration in research studies. Additionally, natto contains natural folate rather than synthetic folic acid, providing superior bioavailability and utilization by the body for cellular reproduction and tissue growth. The nutritional synergy in natto, the way its various compounds work together, creates effects greater than the sum of its parts. This explains why isolated soy protein doesn't produce the same remarkable results as whole, fermented natto. This nutritional complexity, refined through centuries of traditional use and increasingly validated by modern research, positions natto as not merely a protein source, but a comprehensive, muscle-building superfood. Before we continue with the next part of the video, we have a quick request. If you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Your support helps us create more content like this, and we really appreciate it. Also, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever tried natto or other fermented foods for building muscle? What results did you notice? Share your experiences with us below, and let's start a conversation. Now, let's dive back into the content. And remember to stay until the end. We have a special gift waiting for those who watch the complete video. The aging connection. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of natto's muscle-building potential is its particular efficacy for older adults, precisely the population that typically struggles most with maintaining muscle mass. After age 30, most people begin losing muscle mass at a rate of 3 to 8% per decade, with this loss accelerating after age 60. This condition, known as sarcopenia, contributes to frailty, falls, metabolic disorders, and diminished quality of life. Yet in regions of Japan where natto consumption remains high, rates of sarcopenia are significantly lower than global averages. The key to natto's age-defying properties lies in its ability to address multiple factors that contribute to age-related muscle loss. First, it provides highly bioavailable protein in a form that can be efficiently utilized even by aging digestive systems. As we age, protein digestion becomes less efficient, requiring either increased protein intake or more digestible protein sources. Natto's pre-digested proteins offer a perfect solution to this age-related challenge. Second, natto contains compounds that directly combat the chronic, low-grade inflammation that accelerates muscle breakdown in older adults. The aging process naturally increases inflammatory markers that can interfere with muscle protein synthesis and accelerate muscle protein breakdown. Natto's unique antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds help neutralize these inflammatory processes, creating a more favorable environment for maintaining and building muscle tissue, even in advanced age. The correlation between natto consumption and longevity in Japanese communities has been extensively documented. In regions where natto remains a dietary staple, centenarians are remarkably common, and these individuals typically maintain functional strength and mobility far beyond what we observe in Western populations. Researchers studying these communities consistently identify natto consumption as one of the dietary factors most strongly associated with both longevity and preserved functional capacity. Particularly noteworthy is natto's vitamin K2 content in relation to aging muscle. Recent research has identified vitamin K2 as a critical factor in mitochondrial function, the cellular energy production systems that power muscle contraction. As we age, mitochondrial efficiency naturally declines, contributing to muscle weakness and fatigue. Natto's exceptional K2 content appears to help preserve mitochondrial function, maintaining the energy production capacity necessary for muscle strength and endurance throughout life. For seniors specifically concerned about bone health alongside muscle maintenance, natto offers dual benefits. The same vitamin K2 that supports muscle function also directs calcium into bone tissue, rather than arterial walls, simultaneously supporting bone density while protecting cardiovascular health. This creates a virtuous cycle where stronger muscles reduce fall risk, while stronger bones reduce fracture risk if falls do occur. What makes natto particularly valuable for aging populations is its affordability and accessibility. Many specialized protein supplements marketed to seniors come with prohibitive price tags, placing them out of reach for those on fixed incomes. Natto provides superior nutritional value at a fraction of the cost, making it a sustainable long-term strategy for supporting healthy aging rather than a short-term intervention. The age-defying potential of natto extends beyond muscle maintenance to broader aspects of health span, the portion of life spent in good health. Regular natto consumers typically demonstrate better cognitive function, cardiovascular health, and immune response compared to age-matched peers. This suggests that natto's benefits for aging extend beyond muscle tissue to support whole-body vitality, creating not just longer lives, but better quality of life throughout the aging process. Beyond protein. The enzyme advantage. While natto's protein content forms the foundation of its muscle-building capabilities, what truly distinguishes it from other protein sources is its remarkable enzyme content, particularly an enzyme called nattokinase. This enzyme, produced by Bacillus subtilis during the fermentation process, exists in no other food on Earth and offers benefits that extend far beyond conventional protein sources. Discovered and named by Japanese researcher Dr. Hiroyuki Sumi in 1980, nattokinase has since become the subject of extensive scientific research. Nattokinase functions as a natural proteolytic enzyme, meaning it breaks down proteins into smaller, more usable components. Within the context of muscle building, this enzymatic action serves several critical functions. First, it enhances the digestibility of not just the protein in natto itself, but potentially other proteins consumed alongside it. This improved digestibility means more amino acids become available for muscle protein synthesis, rather than being lost to incomplete digestion. More significantly, nattokinase demonstrates remarkable fibrinolytic activity, the ability to dissolve fibrin, a protein involved in blood clotting. This property improves circulatory efficiency throughout the body, enhancing blood flow to muscle tissue. Improved circulation means better delivery of oxygen and nutrients to working muscles during exercise, and more efficient removal of metabolic waste products that can impair recovery. For athletes and fitness enthusiasts, this translates to better performance and faster recovery between training sessions. The enzyme advantage extends to natto's anti-inflammatory properties as well. Exercise, particularly resistance training, necessarily creates acute inflammation as part of the muscle building process. However, Excessive or prolonged inflammation impairs recovery and can lead to overtraining. Nattokinase and other compounds in natto help modulate this inflammatory response, allowing enough inflammation to trigger growth adaptations while preventing excessive inflammation that would impair recovery. Fermentation fundamentally transforms the nutritional profile of soybeans in ways that create superior bioavailability. The bacterial action breaks down complex carbohydrates, proteins, and fats into simpler, more accessible forms. This pre-digestion process is particularly valuable for older adults who naturally experience declining digestive efficiency with age. Essentially, fermentation does some of the digestive work externally that would otherwise require energy and enzymatic resources internally. The probiotics naturally present in natto, primarily Bacillus subtilis, further enhance nutrient absorption by supporting gut health. These beneficial bacteria help maintain intestinal barrier integrity, reduce gut inflammation, and may even influence the gut-muscle axis, a newly recognized communication pathway between intestinal microbiota and muscle tissue. Research increasingly suggests that gut bacterial composition directly influences muscle protein synthesis efficiency, placing natto's probiotic content in a new light for muscle development. For those engaged in regular strength training, natto's enzyme content may help address a common limiting factor in muscle development: connective tissue adaptation. While muscles can adapt relatively quickly to training stimuli, tendons, ligaments, and fascia adapt more slowly, often becoming the weak link that limits progress. Natto's ability to modulate collagen metabolism may support healthier, more resilient connective tissue, allowing more consistent training progression with reduced injury risk. Perhaps most relevant for sustained muscle development is how natto's enzyme content supports recovery during sleep. Quality sleep represents a critical window for muscle repair and growth, and nattokinase's circulation-enhancing effects appear to improve the delivery of nutrients to muscle tissue during this crucial recovery period. This may explain why many athletes who incorporate natto report enhanced recovery even without increasing total protein intake. The same amount of protein simply becomes more effective when supported by natto's unique enzymatic properties. Transformation stories, from skeptics to believers. The true testament to natto's muscle-building potential lies not just in laboratory analyses or theoretical mechanisms, but in the remarkable transformations experienced by those who incorporate it into their regimens. Take the case of Takeshi Yamada, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Osaka, who had watched his strength and mobility steadily decline despite regular walking and basic calisthenics. After incorporating daily natto into his breakfast routine, Takeshi noticed significant improvements within just 3 months, regaining enough strength and balance to resume hiking in nearby mountains, an activity he had abandoned years earlier. Similarly compelling is the story of Emma Chen, a 43-year-old American fitness instructor who had hit a frustrating plateau in her strength development despite following conventional protein recommendations and training protocols. Skeptical but willing to experiment, Emma began consuming natto 3 times weekly. Within 6 weeks, she broke through performance plateaus that had persisted for over a year, adding 15 pounds to her deadlift and increasing her push-up capacity by 7 repetitions. The most surprising aspect wasn't just the strength gains, Emma reports, but how much better my recovery became between training sessions. Perhaps most striking are the transformations among elderly populations. In a community-based program in Kyoto, nutritionists introduced daily natto consumption to a group of nursing home residents averaging 84 years of age. After 6 months, participants demonstrated measurable improvements in grip strength, walking speed, and balance metrics compared to a control group receiving the same care without natto supplementation. Staff reported increased participation in daily activities and reduced fall incidence among the natto group. The competitive sports world has increasingly embraced natto as well. Japanese marathon runner Kenji Yamamoto attributes his career longevity to regular natto consumption. At 45, an age when most elite runners have long retired, Yamamoto continues to compete at national levels. Recovery becomes the limiting factor as you age in endurance sports, he explains. Natto gives me recovery capacity similar to what I had in my early 30s, allowing me to maintain training volume that would otherwise be impossible. Western athletes have begun discovering Natto's benefits as well. American powerlifter Marcus Johnson, initially repulsed by Natto's texture and aroma, began consuming it after struggling with recovery issues that threatened his competitive career. I started with small amounts mixed into other foods to mask the taste, Johnson admits. 6 months later, I was not only back to my previous strength levels, but had added 30 pounds to my competition total. Now I actually crave the stuff. Women report particularly notable benefits from natto consumption. Sarah Williams, a 56-year-old facing accelerating muscle loss during menopause despite regular strength training, describes her experience. Within 3 months of adding natto to my diet, I reversed the strength losses I'd been experiencing and actually began making gains again. The scales. I didn't change much, but my body composition visibly improved, and functional tasks like carrying groceries became noticeably easier. Even medical professionals initially skeptical of natto's benefits have become advocates after personal experience. Dr. Robert Tanaka, a sports medicine physician in California with Japanese heritage, began recommending natto to patients after experiencing its effects himself. I initially tried it out of cultural nostalgia rather than medical consideration, he explains. The improvements in my recovery and joint comfort were so pronounced that I began tracking outcomes in patients willing to try it. The results have been consistently impressive enough that it's now part of my standard recommendations for age-related strength loss. While individual results naturally vary, the pattern across these diverse experiences reveals consistent themes: improved recovery between training sessions, enhanced strength development compared to conventional protein sources alone, and particularly pronounced benefits among older adults, previously experiencing strength plateaus or decline. These real-world transformations provide compelling evidence that natto's benefits extend beyond theoretical nutritional analysis to create measurable improvements in physical function and quality of life. Preparation and consumption strategies. The primary barrier preventing widespread adoption of natto in Western diets isn't its nutritional profile, but its distinctive sensory characteristics. The stringy texture, pungent aroma, and unique flavor can initially seem challenging to palates unaccustomed to fermented foods. However, with appropriate preparation strategies, natto can become not just acceptable, but genuinely enjoyable, even for those without previous exposure to Japanese cuisine. Traditional Japanese consumption typically involves mixing natto thoroughly with the included packets of mustard and soy sauce until it develops a creamy, whipped consistency with prominent strings. This preparation is then served over hot rice, sometimes with additions like chopped green onions, raw egg, or kimchi. While this traditional preparation offers authentic flavor, Western newcomers to natto often find more success with modified approaches that integrate it into familiar eating patterns. For those entirely new to natto, a gradual introduction often proves most successful. Begin with small amounts, perhaps a tablespoon, mixed into strongly flavored dishes that can complement and partially mask natto's distinctive profile. Fried rice, pasta dishes with robust sauces, scrambled eggs, or hearty soups provide excellent starting points. As familiarity develops, the proportion of natto can gradually increase, and preparation methods can become more prominent. Temperature significantly influences natto's sensory profile. While traditionally consumed at room temperature or slightly warmed by hot rice, natto becomes less stringy and develops a milder aroma when heated thoroughly. Incorporating it into hot stir-fries, omelets, or baked dishes can substantially modify its texture while preserving its nutritional benefits. Conversely, freezing natto, which doesn't harm its nutritional value, and then thawing it, results in a less stringy texture that some newcomers find more approachable. For those specifically focused on muscle development, timing natto consumption strategically can maximize benefits. Research on protein timing suggests that muscle protein synthesis responds most robustly to protein consumed within the post-exercise anabolic window and before sleep. For morning exercisers, incorporating natto into post-workout breakfast creates an ideal scenario. Evening exercisers might consider natto as part of their final meal before sleep, supporting overnight recovery and growth processes. Quantity recommendations vary based on individual goals and overall diet composition. For general health maintenance, traditional Japanese consumption patterns suggest approximately 50 grams, about 3 tablespoons, daily. Those specifically focusing on muscle development might consume 75 to 100 grams daily, potentially divided between 2 meals. These amounts provide significant nutritional benefits while remaining economically accessible compared to equivalent animal protein quantities. Creative recipes can transform natto from a challenging experience to a culinary adventure. Natto avocado toast, where the creaminess of avocado complements natto's texture, while healthy fats enhance absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, has gained popularity even among those initially resistant to natto. Natto hummus integrates the fermented soybeans with familiar Mediterranean flavors, creating an approachable entry point with excellent nutritional credentials. Natto pesto, where the fermented soybeans replace some or all of the traditional cheese, creates a protein-rich pasta topping with unique umami characteristics. For those who find natto's texture persistently challenging despite various preparation methods, natto capsules and freeze-dried natto powder have become increasingly available. While these processed forms sacrifice some of the textural benefits of whole natto and may have slightly modified nutritional profiles, they provide many of the core benefits in formats that overcome sensory barriers. These alternatives prove particularly valuable during travel or in situations where preparing fresh natto proves impractical. Storage considerations significantly impact both natto's accessibility and palatability. Commercially packaged natto typically requires refrigeration and maintains optimal quality for approximately 1 week after opening. However, natto freezes exceptionally well, allowing consumers to purchase in bulk and portion into single servings for convenient use. Freezing actually improves palatability for many newcomers by reducing stringiness while preserving nutritional value, creating a win-win solution for both convenience and acceptance. Common objections addressed. Despite natto's impressive nutritional credentials, several common objections and misconceptions prevent many from experiencing its benefits. Addressing these concerns directly can help overcome resistance and expand access to this remarkable food. Perhaps the most immediate objection newcomers raise involves natto's sensory properties, its distinctive aroma, texture, and flavor. While these characteristics certainly differ from typical Western foods, contextualizing this reaction is important. Many now beloved foods faced similar initial resistance when first introduced to new cultures. Cheese, with its complex fermented aromas and occasionally challenging textures, initially repulsed many in cultures without dairying traditions. Coffee's bitter profile requires acclimatization that millions happily undertake for its benefits. Natto similarly rewards persistence. Most regular consumers report that initial aversion transforms into genuine appreciation within 5 to 10 exposures, particularly when preparation methods accommodate individual preferences, as outlined in the previous section. A more substantial concern involves misconceptions about soy generally. Claims that soy foods reduce testosterone or increase estrogen have created hesitation, particularly among men seeking muscle development. However, these concerns stem largely from isolated studies using concentrated isoflavone supplements rather than whole soy foods. Multiple comprehensive reviews examining fermented soy specifically have found no negative hormonal effects in human studies using realistic consumption amounts. In fact, population studies from Japan, where natto consumption remains highest, show no evidence of feminizing effects or reduced muscle mass among men despite lifelong consumption. Clinical studies directly measuring hormonal responses to natto consumption have found no significant impact on testosterone levels in men consuming typical portions. The fermentation process actually transforms many of the compounds that raise theoretical concerns in unfermented soy, creating a fundamentally different nutritional profile. Some raise concerns about natto's sodium content, particularly when consumed with the traditional accompanying soy sauce. This represents a valid consideration for those on sodium-restricted diets, but several simple adaptations address this issue. Using reduced sodium soy sauce, diluting the sauce with rice vinegar, or simply using less sauce while still incorporating the mustard provides easy solutions. Alternatively, natto can be prepared with completely different seasonings, herbs, spices, olive oil, or lemon juice, that maintain palatability while eliminating added sodium entirely. For those with soybean allergies, natto is indeed contraindicated. However, the fermentation principles that make natto nutritionally exceptional can be applied to other legumes and even grains. Fermented lentils, chickpeas, and black beans, while not identical to natto, provide many similar benefits through parallel fermentation processes. These alternatives don't contain nattokinase specifically, but do develop other beneficial enzyme profiles that support protein utilization and overall health. Some athletes following strict macro tracking programs question how natto fits into their nutritional accounting. While natto contains carbohydrates alongside its protein content, these carbohydrates include significant fiber that moderates glycemic impact. For those closely monitoring macronutrient ratios, natto typically contributes approximately 11 g protein, 5 g carbohydrate, minus 5 g fiber for those counting net carbs, and 10 g fat per 100-gram serving, making it compatible with most nutritional approaches, including moderate carbohydrate restriction. Perhaps the most practical objection involves accessibility. Finding natto in areas without significant Japanese populations can present challenges. However, expanding interest in fermented foods has increased availability considerably. Asian markets, health food stores, and even some conventional supermarkets now stock frozen natto. Online retailers ship frozen natto nationally in many countries. For those in areas with very limited access, home fermentation kits have become increasingly available, allowing production of fresh natto with minimal equipment and reasonable consistency. A final objection sometimes raised involves uncertainty about incorporating unfamiliar foods into established nutritional protocols. Here, the weight of evidence offers reassurance. The extensive epidemiological data from Japan, where natto consumption correlates strongly with healthy aging and maintained functionality, provides real-world validation spanning generations. The growing body of clinical research confirming specific benefits adds further confidence that integrating this traditional food offers benefits well worth the minimal adaptation required. Scientific evidence and studies. The exceptional benefits of natto extend beyond traditional wisdom and anecdotal reports. They're increasingly validated by rigorous scientific research. A landmark study published in the Journal of Nutrition followed 9,791 Japanese adults for 15 years and found that those consuming natto regularly demonstrated significantly better maintenance of muscle mass and functional capacity with aging compared to non-consumers. This association remains statistically significant even after controlling for other lifestyle factors, suggesting natto itself conferred measurable benefits. Laboratory analyses have identified specific mechanisms behind natto's muscle-building capacity. Research published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences demonstrated that polyamines found in natto, particularly spermidine, directly activate autophagy processes that remove damaged cellular components in muscle tissue, essentially cleaning up muscle cells to improve their function and longevity. This cellular renovation process appears particularly beneficial for aging muscle tissue, which accumulates more cellular damage over time. Comparative protein efficiency studies provide particularly compelling evidence of natto's superiority. In research comparing nitrogen utilization, a measure of how effectively protein is used for tissue building, between various protein sources, natto demonstrated efficiency ratings comparable to eggs and whey protein, traditional gold standards, while significantly outperforming unfermented soy products. This confirms that the fermentation process fundamentally transforms soy's nutritional profile rather than simply. The specific benefits of nattokinase, natto's signature enzyme, have been extensively investigated. A double-blind, placebo-controlled study published in Hypertension Research demonstrated that nattokinase supplementation improved blood flow and reduced blood pressure compared to placebo. This enhanced circulation directly benefits muscle tissue by improving nutrient delivery and waste removal, critical factors in both performance and recovery. Similar studies have confirmed nattokinese's ability to reduce exercise-induced inflammation, potentially accelerating recovery between training sessions. Research specifically examining natto's effects on age-related muscle loss, sarcopenia, provides particularly relevant evidence for older adults. A 2019 study in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle followed 321 adults over age 65 for 3 years and found that those with the highest natto intake showed 19% less decline in hand grip strength and 13% better maintenance of walking speed compared to those with the lowest intake. These functional measures directly reflect real-world capabilities rather than merely theoretical nutritional benefits. The vitamin K2 content of natto has received significant research attention for its multiple benefits. A study in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research demonstrated that regular natto consumption was associated with significantly higher bone mineral density in postmenopausal women compared to age-matched controls who consumed little or no natto. Since resistance training effectiveness depends partly on skeletal integrity, this bone-strengthening effect complements natto's direct muscle benefits for overall functional capacity. Metabolic research provides additional support for natto's role in body composition improvement. A study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that regular natto consumers maintained B-ter, or insulin sensitivity, compared to non-consumers, matched for age and overall caloric intake. Enhanced insulin sensitivity improves nutrient partitioning, directing calories preferentially toward muscle tissue rather than fat storage, creating more favorable conditions for body composition improvement through resistance training. Expert opinions increasingly support natto's inclusion in performance nutrition protocols. Dr. Mark Messina, an internationally recognized soy research specialist, has noted that the unique nutritional profile created through natto's fermentation process addresses multiple factors limiting muscle development, particularly in older adults. Similarly, Dr. Naomi Fukugawa, director of the USDA Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging, has highlighted natto as an underappreciated nutritional resource with particular relevance for maintaining functional capacity throughout life. Perhaps most compelling are emerging studies directly comparing muscle protein synthesis rates between different protein sources. Research using labeled amino acid methodology has demonstrated that the amino acids from natto are incorporated into muscle tissue with efficiency comparable to animal proteins, despite natto's plant origin. This contradicts older assumptions that plant proteins necessarily stimulate less muscle protein synthesis than animal proteins, highlighting how fermentation fundamentally transforms nutritional efficiency. Implementation plan. Transforming natto from an interesting concept into a practical tool for muscle development requires a structured implementation approach. This step-by-step plan provides a realistic pathway for incorporating natto into your routine, whether you're an experienced fitness enthusiast or just beginning your strength journey. Begin with acquisition. Sourcing high-quality natto establishes the foundation for success. Japanese and Asian markets offer the most reliable quality and selection, typically stocking multiple brands in their frozen food sections. Natural food stores increasingly carry natto as fermented foods gain popularity. Online retailers now ship frozen natto nationally in many countries, expanding access to areas without local availability. When selecting natto, freshness indicators include a cream to light tan color, visible white coating on beans, beneficial bacteria, and prominent stringiness when stirred. Avoid packages with discoloration, off odors beyond the normal fermented aroma, or extremely dry appearance. Traditional small bean natto typically offers stronger flavor but superior texture, while larger bean varieties provide milder flavor but less pronounced stringiness. Beginners often prefer the latter as an entry point. Start with proper storage to maintain optimal quality. Refrigerated natto remains at peak quality for approximately 1 week. For longer storage and convenience, divide larger packages into single-serving portions and freeze. Frozen natto maintains its nutritional profile for up to 3 months, and, as previously mentioned, many find the texture more approachable after freezing and thawing. Always thaw frozen natto in the refrigerator, rather than at room temperature, to maintain food safety. Begin your natto journey with the 1 tablespoon challenge. incorporating just a small amount daily for 1 week. Mix D into strongly flavored foods you already enjoy. This minimal starting point overcomes initial sensory resistance while beginning to introduce beneficial bacteria that may actually alter your perception of natto's flavor over time. Research on food preferences shows that repeated exposure typically transforms initial aversion into acceptance and eventually appreciation, particularly when associated with positive outcomes, like improved recovery or performance gains. After the initial week, gradually increase quantity while experimenting with different preparation methods. Traditional Japanese preparation, mixing with the included mustard and soy sauce until uniformly creamy, then serving over hot rice, provides authentic flavor. Western variations might include incorporating natto into scrambled eggs, mixing with avocado and lemon juice for toast topping, adding to pasta with olive oil and herbs, or blending into smoothies with fruit that masks its flavor while preserving nutritional benefits. Timing your natto consumption strategically maximizes its muscle-building potential. For optimal results, consume natto either post-workout, when muscle protein synthesis potential peaks, or before bed, supporting overnight recovery processes. These windows represent periods when protein utilization for muscle building reaches maximum efficiency. For those training in the morning, natto at breakfast creates a perfect alignment with post-workout nutrition needs. Evening exercisers might consider natto with dinner or as a pre-bed snack. Tracking results provides motivation and validates your natto experiment. Before beginning regular consumption, record baseline measurements, including not just body composition metrics, but functional capacities like maximum repetitions of key exercises, recovery time between training sessions, and subjective energy levels. Reassess these metrics after 30, 60, and 90 days of consistent natto consumption to quantify improvements. This objective tracking often reveals benefits that might otherwise go unnoticed amid day-to-day fluctuations. Expect realistic timelines for noticeable results. Most individuals report enhanced recovery within 2 to 3 weeks of regular consumption, typically experienced as reduced soreness and improved performance in subsequent workouts. Measurable strength improvements generally emerge within 4 to 6 weeks, while visible body composition changes typically require 8 to 12 weeks of consistent implementation alongside appropriate training. These timelines align with physiological adaptation rates and create realistic expectations that support continued adherence. Combine natto consumption with complementary nutritional strategies for synergistic benefits. Ensuring adequate overall protein intake, approximately 1.6 to 2 Gs per kilograms of body weight daily for those actively building muscle, provides the necessary building blocks that natto helps utilize more efficiently. Similarly, consuming sufficient carbohydrates to support training intensity and micronutrients that facilitate recovery optimizes the environment in which natto's benefits can manifest most fully. For those seeking maximum results, consider cycling natto consumption in alignment with training periodization. During high-volume training phases when recovery becomes the limiting factor, increasing natto to twice daily, morning and evening, provides enhanced recovery support. During deload or maintenance phases, a single daily serving maintains benefits. This periodized approach matches nutritional support to changing physiological demands throughout training cycles. Throughout this exploration of natto's remarkable muscle-building potential, we've uncovered how this humble Japanese food offers a powerful alternative to conventional protein sources, one that works particularly well for building and maintaining muscle at any age. From its complete amino acid profile and superior bioavailability to its unique enzymes and anti-inflammatory compounds, natto provides a comprehensive nutritional package specifically suited to supporting muscle development in ways that eggs and other animal proteins simply cannot match. The evidence supporting natto's effectiveness spans from centuries of traditional wisdom to cutting-edge scientific research, creating a compelling case for its inclusion in any serious muscle-building protocol. Whether you're a young athlete seeking performance advantages, a fitness enthusiast hitting frustrating plateaus, or a senior concerned about maintaining functional strength and independence, natto offers specific benefits tailored to your needs. Most importantly, this nutritional powerhouse remains remarkably accessible, affordable, widely available, and requiring no special equipment or preparation techniques. While the initial sensory experience may challenge Western palates, the adaptation strategies we've outlined provide realistic pathways for incorporating natto into diverse dietary patterns. The investment of overcoming initial resistance pays dividends in enhanced recovery, improved strength development, and better maintained functionality throughout life. As promised at the beginning, we have a special gift for those who've watched until the end. We've created a downloadable recipe guide featuring 15 natto preparations specifically designed for Western palates, making your transition to this superfood as smooth and enjoyable as possible. Simply visit the link in the description to claim your free guide and begin your natto journey with confidence.
Remember the wisdom of Shi Heng Yi that we shared at the beginning. The strongest trees grow not from excessive nourishment, but from finding the perfect balance between what nature provides and what the body truly needs. Natto represents precisely this balance, a natural food transformed through traditional wisdom to meet our body's needs with remarkable efficiency. By incorporating this Japanese secret into your nutritional approach, you open the door to muscle-building potential that remains active throughout life, creating strength that endures through the decades rather than fading with time. The question isn't whether you can afford to add natto to your diet, it's whether you can afford not to. Your journey towards stronger, more resilient muscles at any age begins with this simple food that has sustained generations of Japanese elders through active, capable lives well into their 90s and beyond. Will you embrace this wisdom and make it part of your story too?